you're not aware. If you're not aware, good for you. You're not on Facebook. That's great. If you are aware, it's okay. Facebook and social media can actually have some good stuff as well. But there's been a lot of things reported about Excel, about some of our team, our staff members, about our processes. That is absolute fabrication. In fact, it's not disinformation, it's lies. And tonight we will dismantle those lies, not by opinion, but by facts. And so you might not like the facts, but they are. Dislike them, but they're true nonetheless. There's serious allegations about Excel, faculty, staff members, and myself, including sexual assault, edited internal reports, questioning the accreditation and uncertified teachers, disregard for student safety, financial impropriety, and the list goes on. Those things are purported and have been running on threads. And Excel Academy and our team have not responded because that's not the place that you bring accusations, and it's not the place where you answer. There is a way to do this. Tonight I'm going to speak to the allegations. Tonight I want to bring understanding to you, and I want to refute the half-truths and the whole lies that have been used. Because here's what we know. Facts don't always add up to truth. Context matters and the whole story matters, and you're going to hear that tonight. Let's start from the top. Let's hit this from the very beginning that we do not shy away from, and that would be that every allegation of sexual abuse is to be taken serious, never to be played with. As soon as a comment, as soon as there is a hint, as soon as there is an inference of any kind of impropriety in any case and matter, it doesn't matter how close we are to that person, how much we love that person, how friendly we are with that person. If an allegation happens, it demands an immediate investigation. That's our policy, that's our procedure, and that has been our exercise since we've had this school since 2015. That's how we operate. That being said, our policy at Free Life Chapel and Excel stands on that. In fact, we are presently walking some people through this that we were able to encourage them to stand and face their perpetrators, those who committed crimes against them. We encourage them, and now we're helping them walk through the court system in order to face them and allow truth to reign. We're helping people do that because we believe in that. These allegations were brought against Mr. Cory Hodges. Cory Hodges has been a teacher here at Excel since 2020. And I want to tell you about Cory Hodges' past. You may say, well, why is Cory Hodges right here on the front row? Why is he not speaking? Because I refuse for Cory Hodges to be litigated twice when the court systems have already settled the issue. I will tell you the story and I will give you the facts. Mr. Hodges' story has been told to some of the students because he uses his life as an open book when talking to the students. They'll ask him, and he tells them where he's been and what's gone on, such as in 2007, when he was working for the Tomoka State Prison. He was arrested for the possession of marijuana in 2007. It wasn't enough that it accumulated to the point that it was there to distribute, nor was it in the prison system. It was in his vehicle, and it was so little that he was arrested, and there were mug shots taken of him in 2007 regarding the possession of marijuana. It was handled internally with the DOJ, and Mr. Hodges, to that point going forward, he voluntarily submitted to and actually embraced an anti-drug initiative diversion program that was not mandated by the court. It was something that he chose to do to bring right standing and show that he was in alignment and agreement with what had taken place. That was what he chose. And once he did that, he backed out of that program completely. 2007. 2012, Mr. Hodges was working in a residential adolescent program in Daytona Beach. While he was working there, there was a sexual accusation that was brought against him. Young lady claimed that there had been improprieties that took place. And then there is video showing Mr. Hodges going down the hallway and stepping in her room where she is at night. It's dark. It was at night. It was actually in the morning, but it was dark. And this video, which has been put on Facebook as incriminating. Look what he's doing, going into this girl's room. The challenge is this. Mr. Hodges' defense attorney used that very video, and that's what moved him beyond, and it actually got him off the charges because Mr. Hodges was actually following procedure and protocol in the system. As an employee is fully aware there's a video camera running when he is walking and working in the program. If you wanted to actually perpetrate and come after a young lady, you wouldn't do it on camera. But what he was doing was early morning rounds, and when he went down, the role and responsibility was this. You go through the hallway, you look through the window, and you look to identify visually, can you see all of the personnel that are supposed to be there? Could not see anybody, and so the procedures of the program are, you knock on the door, you yell, you try to get a verbal. When there's no verbal, you step in, you're looking to put eyes on the person that is supposed to be there. Have they escaped? Where are they? In the wrong place. They have to do these checks throughout the day. She still did not answer. He stepped in the room, looked under the bed. There was an investigation going on. Finally, she yelled from the bathroom, "I'm in here," after he had called out 3 times. Once she answered, he backed out of the room. And that's exactly what the video shows, that is what took place. And the defense attorney used that in his favor, defending him. You see, if you just look at it on the surface, we got him. Mr. Hodges is fully aware of the security system that is fully operational and alive. Why would he step into something like that and incriminate himself immediately? But he is arrested based on the accusation. The investigation goes on as should be done. If there is an accusation that is made, it deserves a full investigation. He submitted to the full investigation, no problem. In the process, the prosecution offered him 3 plea deals. Take the pleas and we'll reduce the sentence. And he rejected all 3. He said, "I'm innocent, I've done nothing wrong," and fought for his innocence. From that point, the court date kicked in. When they went to court, the young lady who made the accusation, it came time for her to take the stand. When she took the stand, the attorneys began to question her. She was on the stand for 8 hours and admitted to the court she lied about the entire accusation. When she was finished testifying, the jury who was there deciding what his fate would be went into recess, and they began to debate for 30 minutes. Only 30 minutes, if you understand court. And they came back and they said, not guilty. A jury said not guilty. The judge then deemed it not guilty. And after that, DCF, full level 2 national reinstatement. Cory Hodges today holds a level 2 national. His name is cleared. There's no challenge with him being around minors because the charges were a lie. They were not true. He's never convicted of sexual abuse. Never again has he been convicted of sexual abuse. Never has there been an accusation. Never has there been any allegations of any impropriety at all about Cory Hodge. Since he's joined our team in 2020, there's never been an issue. So why are there no court documents? Why is that not on record? Great question. Because all the court documents have been sealed. Why were they sealed? You don't like it? Deal with it. Why were they sealed? Because it has to be agreed on that the judge and the state prosecutor together must be in agreement that because the accusations were unfounded, they will both sign off on it. They will seal it so that it will not be anything that anybody can go and extract and use against him in his future. Only pending, and right now he is just at the break point, pending full expungement, that it will be completely gone off of his record. He has weathered this. His wife has weathered this, in spite of it continually being brought up and people speaking half-truths because they've never seen the court records. What people are reading are newspaper articles that were going after sales and tabloids in order to inflame a culture, and they sold them, and sadly, people actually believe that stuff. But when you understand that a court has already made a ruling, what do you do with that? Do you throw that away for a tabloid? You can decide which one you want to choose. That is the reality, the character, the past, and the present of Mr. Cory Hodges. We work close with this man. He's worked closely with many of your kids, runs some phenomenal programs here. He's the one that helps to hold policy and procedure in place around here, especially in regards to male-female being in the same location. Mr. Hodges has helped to secure Excel. He's not a problem. He's been the answer around here. And we're proud to have him on this team. And I refuse to hold a past against a man when a judge, a jury, and the accuser said it's a lie, it's not real, and you want to pull it out and paint a scarlet letter on his face for the rest of his life, shame on you. I feel this to my core because we're supposed to be adults in the room. But we want to jump on Facebook and do investigative reporting when it's public record. Oh, we'll talk. I got some more to share, but until then, I want to bring Dr. Clark, and I want to ask her to share some things regarding the other allegations regarding the school. And by the way, so that you know, I am speaking to those who are the parents that are here, that are with us this year. I want to affirm that where you are is solid, is secure, and we're not questioning anything. We know what we're doing, and we've got answers for what's being said.
Thank you, guys. So I just wanted to let you know, some of you may have heard that we're not fully vetted and that we manipulate or we do things with records that aren't legal, or we hide, we don't turn in documents, or we short-sight things. And I'm here to ask you a question. Many of you received funding. Thank goodness for DeSantis giving us school choice. Many of you received funding, and you know the level that you had to go through to document your income and all of these things. We believe in abiding by the law. First of all, because I'm a Christian, and because I have integrity, and I have an oath to protect children, and I have an oath to protect schools, and we require that of our students. We require that of you by asking you to do certain things here. And there's just so much paperwork that we have to do to become vetted. There's so many checks and balances and audits. Do you really believe that the state of Florida is going to give us money and just say, oh, just do what you want with it? Do you really believe that the school has the capability to falsify fire department records? If you do, I feel sad, because it really is really hard to do. If we've ever filled out taxes, I know I have some parents in the room that are tax preparers. And the government is very serious when it comes to that. We have to have level audits. We go through outside audits that we don't even have to go through. We have internal audits that we take place. We have a lot of checks and balances here. It's very hard to screen and sidestep an accreditation process. We're accredited with League of Christian Schools, and they have a very rigorous process that we have to follow. And we are accredited every 5 years. However, every year we have to show documentation. We have to be open to them coming and checking a building. We really, and those of you that have met me personally, I love dotting all the I's and crossing the T's. So we're really going to make sure that we're dotting the I's and crossing the T's. Later, when I'm done with a couple points that I have, I'm going to invite Dr. Michael Burrows, who is the director of the League of Christian Schools. And he's going to speak to some of the state law, and he's going to speak to accreditation so that you can feel better about where you are. Because that's our heart, is to, many of you are coming, and I'm so grateful. You're doing your due diligence. You say, gosh, I've heard of these things and I want to come and learn it. I applaud you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for coming and doing your due diligence. But I want to answer to the statements that our staff are not really certified and they're not really able to have the credentials that they need to be here. And I have this in writing because I don't want to miss it. This year, we have been stronger than ever in our teaching credentials. We have 3 members with doctorate degrees. We have 2 doctoral candidates. We have 6 master's degrees and 3 master's level candidates. They're working to pursue their master's degree. We have 23 bachelor's degrees, 4 certified in the respective subject areas, and they're here not because they can't work anywhere else. They're here because they choose to invest in a private Christian education. They're tired of having, many of them came from public school, and they're tired of being told that they have to call Johnny, Susie. I'm just saying that. It's a public school thing. I'm not judging it. We love everybody. But they're tired of some of the policies that are being put in place that they can't really teach, okay? And they can teach wherever they want to teach. I'm not tooting my own horn. I can go wherever I want tomorrow. I can go anywhere I want. I choose to be here because I love your kids. I've fallen in love with them and you. And we're really open to anything that you want to know. That's why we have back to school night. And many of you have been to back to school night. And new parents, I invite you to come because we share our vision. We share our challenges that we've had in the past. We talk about our financials. We tell you how much grant money we've gotten. And by the way, we get a lot of grant money. And if we're getting that much grant money, we have to go through all these audits. How many have ever written a grant? Well, if you have, you understand. Javi, you know. Okay, there's a lot of data that we have to collect, and they're going to take the money back if we don't use it the right way. And I want to encourage you, because tonight we may not have time for questions or answers just because the number of you here. But outside when you leave, we will have a sign-up sheet that we can meet with you and answer anything you have. I said we might not. I didn't say we won't. We might not. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to Dr. Burrows and invite Michael, Dr. Burrows, to come up and talk to you a little bit about the League of Christian Schools and the state of Florida. And you're wondering what I have here, and Michael can respect this file. These are background screenings. These are, if we had a state certification, there's there, background screening. Okay, I can't give you this. Some people ask for it, but I can't legally give it to you. We have State of Florida Department of Education. We have League of Christian Schools certification and accreditation certificates. But these are all of the staff data that we have. And in order to operate, we legally have to have these. So it's a big file. I'm not allowed, as some people ask me to distribute all of the background screenings for teachers. We're not legally allowed to do that. But I do want to show you that we do have a file. And we do have to keep it. Thank you, sir. I'm going to turn it over to you.
All right. Well, I'm not going to lie. I came for the food, so I'm a little hangry right now. I'm hating that. I thought it would be hot dogs or something. So I am the executive director of the League of Christian Schools, and that is an accrediting association. Accreditation actually fosters a framework of accountability for schools, public and private, and we are the accreditor here. What I wanted to really address, because of some of the concerns that, we had some conversation, they were concerned, and I share probably some concerns with parents. Background screening, every teacher in Florida has to be background screened, public or private. That is law. The K-12 are currently screened through a program called VEX. And the preschool is actually screened through the clearinghouse, the DCF clearinghouse, which is managed by the Department of Health. VEX is actually managed by the Florida FDLE, Florida Department of Law Enforcement. So every employee that is in contact with children, actually that's what the law states, every employee in contact with children is going to have a background screening. So it's not a private company online where we're just submitting social security numbers, which some churches do. In Florida, it is fingerprints. And then there's a report that the school gets back, and it will say cleared, or it will say denied, that they cannot work around children. And that's just the law. That's how it is. So I want to encourage you that is required in every school. The other one is certifications. Certifications in accredited schools, certifications can be either through the government entity, i.e. Florida Department of Education, or it can be through a private agency. And in Florida, there's 23 accrediting associations that are recognized in this state. And of those, most of them have a teacher certification protocol whereby we will certify a teacher. Now, why do we certify teachers and why wouldn't they go through the state? There are a few reasons. Some of them are simply the teacher assessment. The math is brutal, and I've had teachers literally, I've had master's degree holding trained teachers that struggle with one portion of the test. And in the state, that is mandated. Another one is philosophical, and this may not resonate with you, but this is a reality in our world of Christian education. In order to be certified by the state, you have to absorb a certain amount of humanistic philosophy, because that entire protocol is designed to really eradicate religion from our vernacular, our culture. One thing that public school teachers don't do at all is worry about biblical integration of their lessons. That's not something they do because it's not in their protocol. So the reality is some private school teachers object to the philosophical underpinnings of that process. So they seek a certification through a private entity. It's very similar, honestly. Ours is on our website. You can go view the requirements. The only thing that we really are not asking that the state asks is that pass on the exam. So that is full disclosure. That is a process that is done in most accrediting associations across the nation. That's a standard process. So I wanted to encourage you to consider that as well. And then the last thing I just want to really share is, as parents, what do we do when we are faced with information that may or may not be true, but we have concerns as parents? I'm a parent of 3 children that all attended a private school. I paid that check. I didn't have a scholarship. I paid it because I believe in Christian education. And I had concerns. What are my options? What were my options? As a parent, my options were A, to go to the leadership of the school and leadership of the church. That was option 1. Yeah. And if I didn't like the consequences there, then what is my option? Well, if I really felt that my child was in imminent danger, I would call law enforcement. That's what I would do. I would call the police and say, I have heard, and I would like for you to check this out. That has been done, and the police have responded. So that has been done. So I don't know what to tell you there. If you feel that other children are truly in danger, you can report to DCF on the abuse hotline that there is a problem. That is something that you can do to make sure children are safe. You can also report to the Accrediting Association an issue of concern that is of an ethical or a moral nature, or even just academic integrity. We actually look at health, safety, and sanitation, as well as academic integrity, curricular integration, and even biblical worldview. You can report that to the Accrediting Association. Now, if you have been around Dr. Clark often, she speaks fondly of accreditation because she's very actively involved in accreditation in our association. She has served and led our teams. So it may lead you to believe that it may not be a fair assessment if you called our association and had a concern about this school. And that's legitimate. I will tell you, I don't make the decision. There's actually a commissioner, and there's a commission, and they would send in an unbiased party to investigate any complaint. And by the way, we do it probably 12 times a year in various schools because it's a reality of this industry. And that information is brought to the commission deliberates over that, and then they make a decision. Just last year, there was a principal of a school that was involved in our accreditation process, very much involved in it. And we found that she had operated her school in an unethical manner. And the Accreditation Commission, even despite her involvement with our association, removed the accreditation, and removed her from our association. So the reality is we have a history regardless. In fact, our commission would think that if you're involved in accreditation, you should know better. And they actually would hold a higher standard to those schools. But if you're sitting there thinking, I don't trust this guy, I think he's lying through his teeth, well, that's fine too. Because this school is also accredited by Cory, which is the largest accrediting agency in the nation. They are not religious. I do not work for them. I'm not on their payroll, and neither is Dr. Clark. You can certainly reach out to Cognia and file a complaint with them, and they will conduct the exact same investigation that we would have, and then they would make their ruling based on that finding. So those are your options, and there's one last option, because you may not know this, but any school that takes scholarships in the state of Florida actually does answer to the Florida Department of Education. It is an office called the Office of School Choice. And ethics in education in the state of Florida requires schools to operate in an ethical and a manner of integrity. So if you have statistics, facts, you had some data that you could share, it's one of the problems is that you do have to have more than just, I think something's wrong there. But if you had a legitimate concern that you could share with the Department of Education, again, they are bound to investigate. Full disclosure, I don't believe it's a very fast process, but it is a third-party process. So I hope that helps you kind of know your options as a parent, your rights, your liberties, and how you can exercise your power of choice. Thank God, this is a school choice state, and we have the ability to make those choices for what's best interest of our children. So God bless Florida, God bless America, and God bless you guys.
Are we supposed to like him?
Thank you, Dr. Burrows. In other words, we submit ourselves to 5 agencies, and whatever those agencies want to do and give it oversight, then they have full capacity, and we have to respond, or we lose the ability to actually function as a school. And we enjoy that oversight because there's absolutely nothing to hide or to run from. Here's what I want to say to begin to wrap this up tonight, and don't worry, I'm not taking an offering.
Are you kidding me right now?
Here's what I want to say tonight. If you have evidence of a crime, you call the police. If you want to slander a character, you go public on social media. You can rearrange 17-year-old facts if you want to fabricate a story, but typing in all caps does not make anything truth. Adding exclamation points does not make it truth. Making demands to manipulate and demand Dr. Clark to fire Cory Hodges based on your feelings as opposed to facts does not make it right. And we will not be intimidated. We will not be bullied. That's not how this works. The accusers that have been speaking very broadly and very openly over the past few days, they're actually angry at the judge for a not guilty verdict. They're angry at the jury for a not guilty verdict. They're angry at the accuser for admitting that she lied. They're angry at DCF for the level 2 national clearance. They're angry at Excel for believing the court system and hiring Mr. Hodges. Angry at Dr. Clark for enforcing Excel Christian Academy's policy and procedures. And so for this reason, we met as a team yesterday with the Polk Sheriff's Department to bring them into the loop. And we met this morning with our attorneys to prepare our next step forward on what has happened. You don't roll over, you don't walk away. Words matter. It's time for accountability. So here are your 2 choices tonight. Number 1, you can believe a 6-day-old thread of Facebook lies. And if you choose to do that, then please, I'm going to encourage you, as much as I hate to see this happen, I'm going to encourage you tonight to inform us that you will be withdrawing your student immediately. We will start processes at 9 a.m. in the morning, if not sooner, to help that process expedite. We will go right away. Number 2, your option is this. believe the court ruling and the 10-year reputation, values, and character and leadership of Excel Christian. With our record-breaking enrollment this year and a classroom full on waiting lists to get in this school, we literally had phone calls today, and here's what the call was. We saw what's been happening on Facebook. We understand some of those people might be angry and want to pull their children out. Can we take their spot?
I do not believe that.
This is going to be a stellar year at Excel. We have things coming that we haven't even whispered to you about, that we've been working on for months, that is only increasing, growing. Again, we're excited about this year. The faculty, the team. We're coming to you. I'll let you know when you can speak. Thank you very much. We'll come right to you. We'll let you know when you can speak. This is going to be the most amazing year at Excel. And I'm so grateful for you, the parents, the family, the friends, that you understand, you believe in. You've been calling with your encouragement. You've been pushing back on what's been, we've heard about things. I didn't go on Facebook to read it. People have sent some screenshots. We've saved the screenshots. We have all of that. We know what to do with it. I'm just letting you know how much we appreciate your heart, your prayers, your reaching out. The phone calls have been overwhelming in support of how we are standing here at Excel. That being said, do you have something you'd like to ask tonight?
Everybody does.
Everybody does.
Ask, please.
I always keep in mind, Dr. Clark knows this. Oh, I just want to know why the other children that were interviewed weren't mentioned during any of this.
The other children that
And I
came.
didn't see anything on Facebook. I pulled the record.
I'm sorry, help me understand your question.
There was about 4 other children that were interviewed.
There's more girls.
There's more girls.
In the courts, in the accusation.
Not just the one from the detox program. There's other ones that came forward.
Yeah, that whole thing was litigated at the same time because there was a corroboration, and you don't know because I said it's all been sealed. You haven't read the court documents.
How do you know that?
Because this is what happened in the court system. The judge and the state attorney signed to seal it because it came out as not guilty. And it's awaiting expungement. It goes at least 10 years, sometimes even 12. Okay, very good.
Tell you one thing. I worked in pediatrics for 10 years as a nurse. Multiple girls, 12, 15, 16, 17, were touched, teachers, whatever, did not want to come forward.
Okay.
These other children came forward, whether you say it's guilty or not guilty. Another question, level 2 background check. Did y'all know that he was arrested in this before you hired him? I just need to answer.
That he has a not guilty conviction. Oh, no, it's, see, you can judge him and you can reconvict him if you want to. No, you are.
I'm protecting my child.
Come on, girl.
I had an issue with him
And
already.
you have the option of going to another school, and we encourage that.
Wow.
Thank you very much. Somebody else, you have, yes, please. Yes. Yes, please.
Why did he lie on the application when he
Uh-huh.
applied for the school if he was innocent?
Which application did he lie about?
Volusia County substitute application. He said that he did not have prior convictions.
Talking about. Yes, please. No, please ask your question. This is fine. There's nothing to hide. Please.
It says on the report that the school didn't hire you and fire you on the spot, and they asked you a question about bullying and
I can see people are going to defend him.
I put that on, I was actually hired as a sub.
Hold
I
on.
did put that on over a year.
I have a next question.
I put that on my application. I put it on every application. But the person still decided to hire me as a sub. But to be a teacher, I had to put an application again, and the principal saw the application, and they decided to let me go. So I wasn't really fired. I was let go after being a sub for over a year
Same
and a
thing.
half with the Flagler County School Board. So
but my question, I'm curious, right, is why did you put no on that when you got?
So they asked me if I was ever convicted of a misdemeanor on a felony, and I put no, because I have never been convicted of misdemeanor on a felony. But when they asked me whether I was arrested, I put that on here, that I was arrested for these exact charges.
It's a great question, and thank you for asking it. That's sincerely. There's no problem with that. So, yes,
You
please.
said you have to answer to the Florida Department of Education, even though you're a private school. So why do you not have to follow the same background checks? Because public schools require a much higher check than what's done here.
We follow level 2.
We are fully compliant, level 2.
In Florida, the public schools are the same?
Public school background check.
He doesn't even know.
We can't even function without those being done on all of our teachers. We can't even receive our accreditation.
Oh, great. Here she comes.
Let me address your question. We are required by law, like Dr. Burrow said, K-12 VEX. That's a Florida Department of Law Enforcement, simpler form background screening. We choose to do the level 2 DCF background screening. We pay more for that, but we choose to do the level 2. Any teacher that has come into our school that has already been in another place that they do VEX, they have to share with that. We have to pull their VEX. We go an extra step and turn it in as a DCF level 2 background screening, and we pay extra for that. It's a national check. There's a FBI screening that goes along with that, mainly because we are a preschool to 12 center. And even though we're separated by a building, we want to make sure that all of our teachers have the same level as a preschool facility would need. So we go the extra step. I can't fabricate that. I hate that you feel that it's not something that's valid, but we have to be as.
I did not say that, since we're making.
I'm letting you know that we have to do it, and we choose to do above and beyond.
Okay,
Yes.
I have another question, and you can say, because this relates to the exact same thing. If I would go on a field trip, I have to do a background check. If my background check is identical to Hodges, am I approved to go on that field trip? No.
Well, your
Exactly.
background check is a simple. You're implying that he doesn't have an accurate background check.
No, ma'am, I am not.
So if your background screening for a field trip is much different than a background screening to work with children.
Mine should be higher then, because I don't work here.
Well, you're as a field trip and you're with people in an environment. You're not by yourself in a room teaching children without another adult. The background screening that you have per policy is a level 1 screening, because we're assuming when you're on the field trip, you're assigned to a few students with a teacher. You're not going alone with students, but we do background checks for anybody that's going on that.
She's saying if
So-
hers had the same thing, though.
There's a difference. Yes, less robust than the teachers.
Okay, but if you pull the exact same report for me that you pull for Hodges, and me as a parent wants to go on the field trip, am I allowed to go?
I'm not
go
pulling
here
the
anyway, so we
same,
might as well
I
just get
think
it
you're
in.
having a hard time understanding. I'm not pulling the same report because they're two different reports.
But if your report showed it on hers, would she be allowed to go? That's the question, not what report you pull.
Well, if your background screening came back as you're able to go, absolutely. Just like his background screening came back on 3 levels that he's totally cleared. So if your background quick screening says yes, as a parent, you do a level 1.
Yeah, that's,
Right. Well, that's a policy that you can ask us to investigate. Most all schools do a level 1 for a parent because you're not taking kids by yourself somewhere. You're with a staff member. Okay?
what about the kids that said they've been alone with him in the
Very good.
office?
We want to bring information to you to settle some questions that some of you have. For some, it doesn't matter how much truth you share. And so this is where we're sitting today, and here's what we're open to doing, as we stated earlier tonight.
Why
You
is he
have
chosen over the
questions?
kids, though?
If
Why
you-
are you more worried about him than the kids? All these kids, and you're more worried about this man than all these. You want to lose all of our. My son bawled his eyes out. He's been in the school for almost 10 years. And I had to explain to him what's going on. And do you know what he said? In that church, where I should be the safest, is where they are choosing a dirty background check over innocent kids?
And see, you're a judge.
No, I'm not judging him. I am not judging him. Also,
Ladies and gentlemen,
you
thank
can.
you. Thank you for
What a
being here.
joke.
Here's what we're going to do. You have questions that you want to ask. We will meet and answer your questions. Downstairs is the way. You give us your information. We'll let you know in 24 hours. We'll set the meeting. We would be glad to deal with you. We're not here to just restir rhetoric.
But
and
they
we're not
canceled
here to
our meeting
remit-
today, so-
remediate anything that has been said and done already. I appreciate your time tonight. I respect your time. Thank you so very much. Have an amazing evening. We're going to have a great year at Excel. Let us
There
know
goes your
how we
wait
can
list.
serve you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you.
What an absolute joke.